All right, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. We are going to do a specific, excuse me, Alertus Power Lunch focused on the operator activator training. I'm going to be logging in as a standard user in the system so you can see what users are able to do and go through the different ways to activate the system through the 4 activation methods and the reporting capabilities as well. We'll also review best practices for system management and troubleshooting, and definitely take a look at that customer portal. So I am going to share my screen. Oh, also, my name is Brooke Petrozelli. I am a trainer here at Alertus. So yes, I will share my screen and we will dive in. All right, so when you log into the console, as I said, I'm going to be logging in as my standard user. That is the username that I have here. And so I won't be an administrator in the system today. I'm going to be looking at it as a user with the user role. So when I come in, a lot of things look the same. I'm greeted with the home page, but I do not have that manage homepage button like administrators do. So I'm not able to edit this section, but I am able to look at my preferences. I am able to see system errors. And if anyone else was logged in, I'd be able to see that as well. Over here, you can see on my navigation bar, I have my 4 types of activations, my reports, and then the standard user doesn't actually have the configure system settings here. That would just be for admin, but I have given my user privileges to view preset alerts because we're going to be able to give those a quick star, and you can add those to your quick access menu here. So I'll star this one and we'll be able to now see it in the preset activation, but that person would not be able to add, edit, clone, or delete here. So that's something that I've given in my user privileges. But yes, standard users will be able to do all of the 4 types of activations and then look at the reports as well. So starting with preset activation, this is where we recommend sending our people to go in case there is any emergency. We want to have that existing here so you all can come here, click a few buttons, and send it out. Obviously, like I just showed you, we could add things to our quick access menu. We can also come down here to our preset drop-down menu, and then these are all the presets that I've created. If I wanted to send out a specific one for an evacuation, I could click that here. This one has a text prompt included in it, so I would have to include the incident. So due to a fire, I could put that in, and then we just have that text prompt filled in there. And if I click continue, I'm able to see that I have my message text, the duration already set, the priority is 1 because it's the highest for an emergency, and then I have it set to go to these specific delivery methods and groups, and you can see what's online and offline here. So my desktop is going to be activated once I send this way. So once I send something here as an user, I will be able to come here and see that there is an active alert.
Alertus Technologies, an evacuation.
I see it on my computer as well. So I'll acknowledge and dismiss it from my computer, but that's still an active alert here. Standard users do have the ability to cancel alerts. So I'll come here and I'll cancel that alert as well. So that is preset activation. Of course, the Q&A box and the chat is open, so please feel free to put in any questions as we go through this. Sarah has also joined us on the call and can answer any questions as I chat, and we'll have time at the end for Q&A as well. All right, so preset, like I said, super quick, super easy, definitely where you want to live for these pre-planned emergency scenarios and send your standard users and dispatchers to go to. However, if you do not have a preset created, but there is something that you need to send out very, very quickly to everyone, we have rapid activation available. So this is what we call kind of our nuclear option. You can compose the message itself, but you have to make sure that you're okay with it going to all units. So these settings are not editable. It will go for 5 minutes at the highest priority to all units to whatever the administrator set for the emergency profile, which will be the different endpoints. So desktop or alert beacons or HPSA or whatever you have. And once again, you have to be okay with it going to all units. So you could pull in a message, once again, for an evacuation if you wanted to, and you can edit it. Or if you wanted to say, like, there is a flood warning, you could type that in as well. Whatever you want the message to say is editable, but the settings are not. So you would click continue. You could also click preview if you wanted to see what it looked like on the computer or on the text to speech. You could hear it as well. If you have those different endpoints plugged into your alert profile. But this is, once again, the nuclear option for sending something to everyone if you do not have that preset available. The next level up on the custom customization ladder is custom activation. So custom activation will allow you to send a fully customizable alert to activate the Alertus system. So similar to Rapid, you could pull in a message. I'll pull in system test because with custom activation, it does take some time to build it out. So we want to make sure that you are using this when you have the time to do so. You don't want to use this in an emergency situation, just to avoid as much human error as possible, and also to, like I said, save time. But this will be great if you are doing a drill, sending a system test, or there's a scheduled outage or scheduled something that you want to come in here and do. So I'll pull in my system test. I can also pull in a variable if I want to send the specific date and time that this is going to go out. I could insert this here, and then that will automatically pull in the date and the date and time. I can change the duration, so maybe I do want this to go for 20 minutes. It can even go as low as 2 minutes and as many as 16 days. And then lastly, over here, we have this now button is clickable. So when you click it as a standard user, you are able to schedule this specific alert to go sometime in the future. This might look different for you if you are an administrator in the system. Administrators are able to schedule alerts to repeat, to have the scheduled drills repeat by weeks or months or days or whatever you want to set it to. Standard users do not have that ability. So you can come in here and you can, as a standard user, and you can schedule this to go in the future if you want this to go, say, next week at 12. Actually, I'll send it at 1. Oh, now it's 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. If I wanted to schedule that, then I could. The next part is going to be adding the delivery methods. So you could pull in an alert profile. I already mentioned the emergency alert profile here. We could see the different alert services in this section. But if you wanted to do a custom and just pull in the individual alert services here, then you can do that. Say, for example, you only want to target your alert beacon and your text-to-speech speaker, and maybe you want to have an Alertus desktop that has a, we'll do the green pop-up. So you can target those specific endpoints this way. The Alertus desktop settings are already set up in here. This is going to be what profile is pulled in. So it'll be my pop-up green silent test, and we'll be able to see that when I send this out. Actually, I'll make sure I'm going to clear that because I want it to go now. And then for the alert beacon, this is where you can come and set the settings up for that. So let's say for the first 10 seconds of my 20 minutes, I want this to go at max volume with this specific blink and this specific tone, which you can hear here. And then after those 10 seconds, I actually want it to go to low volume with this blink, in case people need to approach and actually read what the alert beacon is saying. And then I can also set up my peripherals. So say I have if it's a system test, I want it to glow green, or maybe I have other strobes or sirens that are attached to it, or my door lock controls are attached to it. I can turn all of these on here as well. And then similarly with the text-to-speech devices, you can set up the chimes and wave files that you want to use. So if you did want to have a pre-wave file that would go like ding ding, and then have someone pay attention, you could have that. And then a post-wave file as well. Down here, you can set how many times you want it to play, how many delays you want in between those plays, how etc., how fast you want it to read. I'll choose medium instead of fast. And then if you had an LED marquee attached, you could do that as well. So you can fully set the settings up to what you want that behavior to be for your different endpoints. And then lastly is going to be choosing the recipients. So I could send this to all, which would go to all of my alert beacons, all of my text-to-speech speakers, and all of my desktops. Or I could choose specific groups. So maybe I just want to test building one, or I have a specific test group that I could send to. I could also choose individual units. So I'll just send this to my desktop here. If I only pull in my desktop, then it actually won't target an alert beacon or text-to-speech speaker because they have to be in both sections. So these two work together. They need to be, like I said, available in both for them to actually set off the alert. So now I am going to send this so we can see that green pop-up. So I'll click continue. You can see once again, it's only targeting my Alertus desktop because I only pulled that in as a unit. And then it's an active alert. We will see it pop up now on the side of my screen instead of fully taking over. I'll click acknowledge, and then I'll also cancel this alert. So yes, custom activations are great for the system tests. They're great if you are trying to troubleshoot a specific alert beacon or troubleshoot a specific desktop that might be giving you issues. You can pull in just that unit to test, but they do take time, and which is why we want to have the presets available. The other thing that's different on this page for a standard user is that at the bottom of this screen down here, as an administrator, you would have a checkbox that says save as a new preset alert. A standard user would not be able to have that checkbox. They would not be able to save this as a new preset alert. So if they build something here, they're only going to be able to send it once instead of save it as a new preset. And the last type of activation that we have available to everyone that is listed as a standard user is desktop activation. It is the highest level of customization. So once again, you're going to need time to build this, but it will allow you to fully customize any desktop alerts. So this is only going to be like something you would use if you have the desktop clients on computers. But if you do not, you would stick with just the other three. The two most used are preset and custom, just as a heads up there. But desktop activation is great for modifying desktop profiles live. So the beginning is going to look really similar. You could pull in whatever message you want. You can edit it. You can change the duration. You can change the starting time. And then you're going to be able to customize the desktop. So you can choose the pop-up, which is what we just saw with, I think it is called the crisp alert. Obviously, mine was green, so you could come down here to display mode variables, and you can change that color if you wanted to be any specific color. You also can choose from other different templates or make the boxes pop up in different ways. We also have the ticker, which once again, you can come here and you can change the different settings for this. So if I actually wanted it to be black with white text, I could have that here as well. And then lastly, I have my full screen takeover alert, which has a bunch of display mode variables. So let's say I actually want that to say test instead of alert. I could come up here and now it's saying test. I actually wanted to blink green and have the border. Actually, I don't want it to blink at all and the border be green as well. So now everything is green for this system test. So you could have that set up that way, change the logos, change the fonts, get rid of the acknowledge button if you want. And then you can also set the audio for all of these. If you want it to be text to speech to read what it says, or if you want it to be an audio file and override the system volume to make sure that people are paying attention to whatever alert's coming in, then you can set that up here as well. So with this alert, we're definitely sending it to desktop. It's going to look like this. Actually, maybe I'll show you a ticker with a top scroll. So it'll look like that. And then I will also pull in, you could also pull in other alert services. So if you also want to target your alert beacon, you could pull that in as well and set up those settings as I showed you before. And then lastly is the recipient. So who is actually going to get this? What alert beacons and what desktops will get this? I'll pull in my test group so we can see what that looks like when you pull in a group. And so I'll click continue. We can see that I'm pulling in test group. None of my alert beacons are online at this moment. So once again, we'll only see the desktop go off, but we are able to see the alert beacon information here. And I'll click send. Once again, I'll have an active alert in the system, and then any second it's going to pop up on my screen as well, and we'll be able to see that ticker come across with the message. So there it is up at the top. There is no sound to this. I also have an X where I can close and acknowledge and dismiss it. I can also scroll to like read it again if I want to see it this way, but I'll close out of that and I'll also cancel on my alert. So those are the 4 ways to activate from the system. Like I said, each user can have specific activations applied to them in the users and access rights. I'm logged in as my standard user, so I have these here, but preset only users would only have preset activations. And of course, you can go and set these up for your users if you want a specific role. The other thing that people have access to as standard user are all the reports. So with the alert history report, we're able to see the ones that I just sent out. So of course we could see this one that was the ticker that I just sent. This one was the small green screen pop-up that I sent, and this was the full screen takeover for the evacuation that I sent. You can see the message that was sent, the time that it was sent, and also the endpoints that it targeted over here. Also, if you click the message itself, it will open up some more information and tell you what groups it targeted, how long it was set to go for, if it was canceled, how long did it actually last if it was canceled, who sent it, who canceled it, etc. All lives in this section. And then there are 3 reports attached to each of these. So the first is going to be device activations. It's going to open up a new tab here, and we will be able to see at the top of the report the same information that we saw when we opened up this message here, basically. But as you scroll, you're able to see more information around what was actually activated. So as I stated, only my Alertus desktop is online right now because I'm working from home. So I'm only going to see that that is the only one that was online. It activated in 8 seconds. Everything else is offline. If you wanted to sort by specific things, you could do that as well, and download this as a CSV file if you wanted to view it that way. This is a good way to keep an eye on what's actually activating in your system. The next one is device acknowledgements. So it's going to look very similar to device activations, except it's going to tell me if anyone actually pressed this green acknowledge button. So here I'll come down and I will look at the same kind of charts, but once again, it's saying the number of acknowledgements. And we will see that, yes, I acknowledged my computer at 19 seconds here. The last one is user recipients. This will pull in the specific logged in users. So instead of pulling in my device name right here, this is the actual name of my computer. This is pulling in that I was actually logged into this computer. It did activate at 8 seconds and it acknowledged at 19 seconds. This is specific to the old recipient app, which is being removed from our system. It's no longer going to be working. We're going to be working with Alert Aware now. So we don't have to worry about this line right now. These 3 reports, device activations, device acknowledgements, and user recipients, do live over here on the navigation bar as well. But if you go to them, you do have to know the alert ID number to see the one that you want to see. So I find it easier to just live in the alert history page because they're all attached in the same section, but those are there as well. The other report that is super handy, especially for our IT people on the call, is the device status report. So device status will once again open up a new tab, and it will show all of your current devices and their current status. So instead of having to send an alert out, you could just look at this device status report and make sure that things are online. So right now I'm looking at just my Alert Beacons desktop and IP text-to-speech speakers. I could select these and show other devices as well. As you see, we have 2 different colors on this specific report. One is the white color, which means that they are currently online. Our devices are set to ping the server every 3 to 15 seconds. So hopefully you'll be seeing this online and the last check-in time and time since last check-in at 0 minutes if things are online. We also have things that are offline, which means they haven't checked in since the last restart, which for me was yesterday. So if they haven't checked in since that time up here, then they're going to show up as red, and they haven't since the restart. There is a third color that you may see on your reports that is yellow, and that is an active device. That means they have checked in since the last restart, but they haven't checked in the last 3 minutes. So those are going to show up as yellow. And as you scroll over, you're able to see a lot more information, especially about your online or inactive devices around error times, IP addresses, logged in users, computer names, anything like that you can see here. You also can add and remove specific columns if you don't want to see all of that stuff, and export it as a CSV file as well. So yes, very handy to just keep an eye on your system. The next report is the group membership report. So this is going to show you who is in what group. You are not able to edit the groups here, just see what's in the groups. Standard users are not able to edit groups, but you can come here and you can see what devices live in the groups. You can make sure that things are, actually, I don't have any in my North Campus group. Maybe I should add some devices there. There's also a report up at the top here that is really handy that is view alert devices not assigned to any groups. So if you're using groups as like a location-based thing, like everything should be either in building 1 or building 2, or North Campus or South Campus. And you can come up to this report and you can see and make sure that you don't have any unassigned alert devices. So everything is in a group the way it should be. The next one is location memberships. This is going to be very similar. It will show you what devices are in which location if you are using the latitude and longitude location in Alertus, and Alertaware. And you can also have the same report here, view alert devices not assigned to locations, and make sure that things are in these sections or not if you are using locations. Mobile memberships, once again, we are moving over to Alertaware, so we don't need to worry about that. So the next one is system activity. So system activity is going to show you what's actually happening in your console. So you can see that I sent an alert. You can see I canceled an alert. You can see that there's a system error. You can see who's logging in and logging out. You can also sort by specific categories. So if I just want to see activation, then I can just highlight that. If I just want to see who's logging in, then I can just highlight that. If I want to make sure that the system is running okay and I want to see any errors, then I can just do that. And I can also search via date as well. So this is just a good way to keep an eye on your system here. And then lastly, the 2 other reports are specific to VoIP devices. So if you do have any VoIP phones in your solution, then you can come here and see the devices and the activations as well. So that is what standard users have available in their Alertus console. As I said, they normally don't have this configure system settings, but I gave my standard user access because I want them to be able to come here and view the preset alerts so they can add them to their quick access menu. They cannot edit, clone, or delete. So if you wanted to add that to your users as well, you can do that as an administrator in users' rights and access. The other button down here is also really handy. So every user will always have this support button. If you're an administrator, you'll also see something called settings and middleware down there, but standard users only have the support. So when you go to the support button, you're able to contact Alertus support either by emailing us, calling us, or submitting a case. This will bring you to the customer portal as well. So if I go and open up the customer portal page, I'm able to log in here. If you cannot get access to the customer portal, please feel free to reach out to us at trainingteam@alertus.com or to your account manager, and we can make sure that you have the settings here. You also can reset your password to help.alertus.com as well. That will not mess up anything in the console. These two do not talk to each other, so the usernames can be separate because for security reasons, we're not allowed to see what is happening inside your console here. But when you come to this page to log in, you're able to see more webinars coming up. This will be updated next week with the February webinars to schedule for these different events that you're here for. And then when you log in, you're able to be greeted with a ton of resources. So here we have the ability to submit a tech ticket. So you can come here if an issue is going wrong with your hardware or software, you can come and ask for that specific thing. You also can look into your account and to any software downloads that you have. And then there's some tabs at the top if you wanted to look at specific things for implementation or training. If you want to look at the specific trainings that we offer, you can come here and read through those. And then you can also request a training here as well. So if you wanted to come here and request what kind of training you want for what, we'll get an email and we can help set that up for you. You also have access to the knowledge base. So the knowledge base has all of these different articles down here and documents that are available to you that you can click through and see. If you want to learn more about custom activation, then you can come here and do that, and see that here. You also are able to use the search bar at the top. So if you wanted to learn more about the alert history report, you can come here and search that, and then all of the information will come up with that as well. Yeah, so definitely use the customer portal. And I believe that was everything that I had to cover today. So we have 4 minutes left. I'm going to throw it back over to Sarah and see if we have any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brooke. And by the way, my name's Sarah. I'm another trainer here at Alertus. And I had some technical difficulties joining the call. The Wi-Fi dropped out right before the power lunch started, but I'm happy to be here now. And as Brooke mentioned, feel free to type questions in the Q&A box or in the chat. If you do have any questions, we'll hang around for a few more minutes. And also, please feel free to check out some more power lunches. Next week, we have one called Alertus Power Lunch, User Management and Alertus Console Customization. So if you do want to learn how you can update users' access in the console, give people access to certain activation methods or certain reports, we'll go through all of that next week. But I hope everyone has a great weekend and a good rest of your Friday.
Thank you all.